Good morning and welcome back to On the Way to Success with Alex Dow, part 2 of the video series, vlog, if you will. And it is with a heavy heart that I come to you today. A good friend of mine by the name of Chris Cox passed away yesterday, pancreatic cancer. I'm glad to see his suffering cease, but definitely sad to see him go. And he is going to be one of the topics of the talk today, due to the fact that I've looked up to Chris for a very long time, and for a number of different reasons, but the number one reason being that Chris lived his passion. Chris found what made him come alive, and because of that, he had provided a service to countless different people throughout his life and throughout his career as a conservation agent for the Missouri Department of Conservation. And he was a very special person. Like I said, he lived his job. He believed in what he did, and he wouldn't let anybody tell him any different. And that is, I think, a lesson that we can definitely learn from Chris today. As I talked a little bit yesterday about entitlement and finding what makes you come alive, and following your passion and following your dreams and not taking no for an answer, Chris really lived out that message and really made it tangible for people like me that are aspiring to do that. And he really achieved what he wanted, and there's something to be said for that. In other news, what other issues may we have going on today, or in our own lives, or what we think to be a big issue or what we think to be a big problem can always be looked at in a different perspective when something like this happens in a community, when we lose a very crucial part of our church and of our community. We really are forced to look at things in a much broader perspective, and it kind of makes you think about, what your problems are, and how infinitesimal they may seem after, somebody had just lost their husband, and somebody just lost their son, and somebody just lost their best friend. And it kind of makes what you have going on seem like it ain't anything, really. And I think that would be a good message to articulate in this video is perspective. And I think because in this day and age, people's perspective is so skewed, piggybacking on a lot of what I said in the previous video, people seem to believe that they are the only ones with their problems. They're the only ones with their issues. It's human nature to believe that you are the only one that feels the way that you do, and that has the problems that you have, and it's not the case at all. And I think that if we looked at things with a little better perspective and from a bigger picture, it would really provide us a lot more joy in life and a lot more enjoyment out of life. And it's sad that it takes something like this to happen to really get you to take a step back and to look at things in a different light. But it definitely does make you do so. This morning, I just wanted to stress the fact that in my own life, I've found what I believe Chris found early on in life, and I'm thankful for that. And that's enjoyment in the workplace, and enjoyment in what I do, and finding what I'm passionate about and going after it. I'm a salesman by trade and a salesman by heart, and I've always felt that pull, and ever since I've gotten into the business, I can definitely tell, and you will too, once you get into something that you are truly passionate about and truly have a love for it. It's like you never work a day in your life. I spent the early years of my working career dreading going to jobs like construction or at a fast food restaurant or whatever it may have been. I was just like everybody else, and just like so many other people. I hated getting up. I hated going to work. I hated being at work, and I was just counting down the minutes until I got off, and that's not it anymore for me. I'm excited to get up every morning. I'm excited to get into work and to get into the office and to do what I love and to what I do best, and to really compete and on a level of sales. And for me, that's what does it. And you need to find what does that for you. Everybody in this world has a niche. Everybody in this world, I firmly believe, has what they are supposed to do and what they've been put on this planet to do. And it is our job, I believe, to find that. And I don't believe that we are doing all we can do for our communities and for our country until we are serving that purpose that we are sent here to do. And when you find it, you found it. It's just like love, and it's just like anything else in this life. Your heart will tell you everything that you need to know, and you know everything you need to know without even being told. It just comes. And it's kind of an oxymoron for a 23-year-old to say that. Kind of talking out of my shoes here, but it's true. You gotta find what makes you come alive, and then go come alive. And sales is what's done that for me, and who knows what may do that for you. But I think more people need to find what makes them come alive, and we'd be in a lot better spot in our society. Moving on to point number 2 of our talk today is kind of wanted to discuss the issue of blaming. It's a big one for me. It is really, really, really a big pet peeve of mine, and it's growing ever more present in our society, of people blaming other people for the situations that they're in or for the decisions that they have made themselves. And it gets on my nerves when I hear things like, oh, well, if this guy wouldn't have done that, or if she wouldn't have done this, or if he wouldn't have said that, or if this wouldn't have happened, or if that wouldn't have happened, I'd be here. Screw all of that. Screw it. That is fake news. That is your brain justifying you failing, okay? Nobody is in any situation that they did not set an appointment to be at, and I firmly believe that. And I'll say it again, nobody is in any situation that they have not made a prior appointment to be at. Really take that to heart, because that is the truth. You make your own decisions in this world, and what happens is a direct effect or direct consequence of those decisions. Now, there's things that happen out of our control, but it is not our place to blame other people for those situations, because a lot of times it was out of their control. And if people would just stop the blaming and would just take accountability and responsibility for their own decisions and their own actions, this world would be an entirely different place. And for a long, long time, I was blaming everybody for my shortcomings and for my failures and for why I wasn't where I needed to be in life. My parents sheltered me as a kid, or I was addicted to a substance, or I had mental disabilities, or I had anxiety, or I was sick, or I wasn't given 100%. I wasn't given 120. I was not given 120% of my effort. And until I give 100% effort, who am I to blame? If I don't do my own job, how can I blame you for not doing yours? And people really need to think about that and just take that into perspective. And you know, if you aren't doing everything you need to do, how am I supposed to do it for you? People, that's what they expect anymore. You know, it's always somebody else's fault. And in sales especially, I've come to realize that and with my customers, and when stuff goes wrong and when stuff happens that is out of my control, customers call and they're irate. You know, they got a flat tire or something happened, you know, that wasn't my fault and likely wasn't anybody at the dealership's fault, but they call and they're just so accustomed to nobody taking responsibility for anything that they're mad because they just assume they're going to get screwed right off the bat. And that's what separates me from really a lot of other people in this business, is that I will take responsibility for something. Sometimes even if it's not my fault, just for the simple fact that somebody wants you to take somebody wants somebody to take responsibility. And it is a blissful feeling to on the other end of the line, once you say, I've got this, it's in my ballpark now, or it's up to me, or I will handle it, or, you know, you take that means you take that off of somebody else. And that is one of the greatest things, I think, and something that has driven me to sales, and I get a lot from it, is, you know, once you start taking responsibility, your world will change completely. And I can't even describe how, but it will. And so that's point number 2, is we need to stop blaming other people for the situations that we may be in, and stop blaming things that are out of our control for the situations that we're in. You know, whatever the situation may be, like I said yesterday, life is not fair. And it's never going to be fair, and don't ever believe that it'll ever be fair. Sometimes you'll catch lucky breaks, and sometimes you won't. But don't blame anything or anyone for where you're at. That's point number 2. Number 3 is value added, is what I'll call it, to summarize the point. And what I mean by that is so many people, me included for a long time, just believe that I deserve so much. I deserve this amount of money, and I deserve this, and I deserve that, and and I didn't ever look, and a lot of people don't ever look, you know, why do I deserve that? You know, what am I doing to deserve what I think I deserve? And kind of to help summarize that up, a guy told me, and he made it super clear for me, and it resonated with me. How do you ever expect to be valued in your job and in your community and in your household? How do you ever expect to be valued if you don't make yourself valuable? He had a good point. You know, what are you doing to deserve what you think you deserve? You know, are you making yourself valuable? Are you adding value to the situation that you're in, or to your work, or to your household, or to your church? What are you doing to make yourself valuable? And for a lot of times, and for a long time, you're going to have to do those things that make you valuable for free, because it's human nature to not know what you have until you no longer have it. And so once you provide those services and you provide those things that you believe make you more valuable, people will begin to notice that, and people will begin to pay you for it, because they realize that they don't want to live without it, because what you are providing is a service that they don't, like I said, that they don't want to live without. And so what we think we deserve, or what we think we need, or what we think we're owed doesn't make any difference, because it doesn't matter. It's what are we adding to the world? What are we doing to earn those rewards? Because, you know, you don't get anything in this life that you don't put into it. And that's something that I think is very important. Value added. What can you do to make yourself more valuable? Definitely a key to success. In summarization, what have we talked about today? We've talked about perspective, and we talked about how oftentimes it takes situations like what happened to my friend Chris to step back and to look at the bigger picture of what's really important in life. And we need to do that more often, not just in the bad situations and when something bad happens. We need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and what we're doing and look at our perspective. And number 2, blaming. We need to stop blaming. We need to take responsibility for our own actions, no matter how difficult it may be and no matter how much they aren't even our fault. We need to stop blaming. And number 3, value added. We need to make ourselves more valuable, find a way to make ourselves valuable to our surroundings, and eventually we'll be rewarded for it. 3 key points to success for today. Like I said, and I'll end every video with this, as I'll end this one. Find what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. Bible verse to today, one everybody knows, Psalms 23. Though I may walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff comfort me. That's all I got, folks. Alex Dow coming to you live.